So how will the petty cash journal look? So as you know, transactions are never entered directly into the general ledger. We always first put it into a journal called the Book of First Entry. So it should be clear that the general ledger will be very clumsy and will not contain important information such as whom we purchased from or source document numbers, etc., if we were to put it directly into the accounts. So in other words, the new subsidiary journal that we will use to record the petty cash payments, this is going to be known as the petty cash journal, the PCJ, and will only be used to record the transactions where an item was bought for cash out of the petty cash. So the columns in the petty cash journal are very similar to the cash payments journal. So if you understand how to do the cash payments journal well, you will not have any problem figuring out how to do the petty cash journal well as well. So you can follow on this page. I am just going to switch over to an example of a petty cash journal so that when I read off of this page, you can follow me but look at the screen of a petty cash journal. So this is typically what a petty cash journal looks like. You can see it's very much similar to the CPJ. So first column that I get is the document number column. So in the source document number column, the specific number of the petty cash voucher, remember we said petty cash voucher is the source document that we use whenever money is taken out of the petty cash box. So this voucher that was completed when the money was taken out of the petty cash is recorded to make it easy to refer to the specific petty cash transaction if there might be any queries. Good. Next one is the day column. So in the day column, the same as with the CPJ, CRJ, CJ, CAJ, all of it is the same. Since the month is already in the heading, it is not necessary to write the month in the column as well. We can only write the day because I now know it's the 1st of April or the 12th of April or the 21st of April. It's not necessary to write April again. Then the next column is the details column. So in this details column, seeing that it is not always possible to connect a specific name of the person or the institution to whom the payment out of petty cash box went, we will rather write a short description of the item of service that was paid for. So we don't necessarily know where it was paid or whom it was paid for, but a description is more accurate. It's not like a check where we have the information of the specific person we paid on the check counterfoil. So therefore a description is just as good. So in the details column, a description is needed. So it is thus very important to make sure that the petty cash voucher is fully completed. So we will say that we bought stationery from P&A, or that we washed the van, or that we auctioned the stock, or that we repaired the chair. So the detail is a short description of what the petty cash money was used for. Then in the folio column, we won't really use the folio column. The folio column is only used when a transaction involves a debtor or a creditor. So in other words, when the posting was made to the debtor's ledger or the creditor's ledger. So this indicates that the transaction was posted to the personal account of the debtor and the creditor in their ledgers. Very rarely will we use the debtor's or creditor's ledger in the petty cash journal. So therefore this is not a common occurrence. Then the main account, the big account, I'm going to highlight it in red for you. That is going to be the main account. So everything will be entered into the petty cash column, and then the same as in the others, it will then be entered somewhere else after after that. So it has to have the credit in the petty cash column and then somewhere else. So the petty cash column is the main column in this journal. So petty cash, the total of every petty cash voucher is recorded in the petty cash column. So at the end of the month, this column is total, and the total is posted to the credit side of the petty cash account. Because it is an asset, it needs to be decreased, so therefore the credit side is going to decrease the account. So sundry accounts, total payments, or you can say petty cash payments, is written as the reference in the petty cash accounts because there's many different accounts that will be debited to complete the double entry. And you can see here in the journal all the different debit accounts that I can choose from. Trading stock, stationery, packing material, wages, or any other thing that I'm paying for in sundry accounts. Good. So now the other accounts, the same as in the CPJ, I can choose anything that I pay for. So if I pay for an asset, in other words, such as trading stock, the column total at the end of the month is posted to the debit side of that specific asset account because the asset needs to increase. So the reference would then say the credit is going to be in petty cash. So if this is the credit, then automatically I know that all the rest of the accounts will be debited to complete that double entry. So the asset debit will show an increase. When I have an expense, wages, stationery, packing material, a debit in expenses will cause my expenses to increase as well. So the column total at the end of the month is posted to the debit side of the specific expense account. Therefore, the fact of the expense increased, but owner's equity decreases. Again, the reference in these accounts would simply refer back to petty cash, which was the credit entry. Then I can also use the sundry accounts column if I need to, if these entries that I want to make doesn't have its own column. So therefore the sundry accounts column would also be debited, but on the specific day that it occurred, the same as all the other journals. So the account will be debited because the fact of it is either an asset that will increase or the expense that it will decrease the owner's equity indirectly. Therefore, the reference is again petty cash, seeing that the account where the double entry is completed in petty cash. Hope this is very straightforward to you and that we can now go straight ahead and do our first example. Just one more video and then we're going to start with the example and the exercises.